Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mogi Beth. For those of y'all who are new here, I am a full-time reseller on Poshmark, ThredUP, eBay, and Mercari. Every month since the month of February, I have been reporting my total sales of the month, as well as a few other numbers and figures. And today we are going over my total sales for the month of June. Just a reminder for those of y'all who are new here, sales do not include the platform fee. So all 4 platforms that I sell on do have a fee that they charge every time you make a sale. So it doesn't include that, and it also does not include my cost of goods. It's only the gross sales that I had within any given month. So, and also as a reminder for those of y'all who are new, I have chosen not to share my cost of goods. There's a lot of reasons for this, but I just want to thank y'all for understanding. Okay, so let's talk about the month of June. As I mentioned in my May sales video, which I will link up on the screen, we decided that this month we would focus more on setting up the foundation, setting up the systems for long-term growth. Instead of focusing on listing. So what we did is we've decided to focus on creating training manuals, hiring an employee, and hiring a virtual assistant. And we did all 3 of those. We completed them. We have a new employee, we have a full-time virtual assistant, and we've created systems where these things can operate rather smoothly. But doing so we knew would hurt our sales. So we made the conscious choice to sacrifice this month's sales growth for setting up the systems for our long-term growth. And I really do think that it's really gonna set us up for success in the long term. So I'm super excited about where we're at right now, but it did make an impact on our sales. Our sales are not as high as they were in May, but I'm actually, fairly happy with the results given the circumstances of this month, and I'm excited to share them with you. So as you can see from this graph here, I'll put up on the screen and I'm looking at it here, June was very up and down, but the last 3 days of June were insane, and they really salvaged the month from being one that was bad to one that was actually okay, and I felt good about moving forward. But there were periods, we had a no sales day, we had days with very little sales. June is the month for both Matt and I's birthdays, so we both turned 28 one day apart. So during those 2 days, I think you can even see reflected on the graph, it was just very little activity because we weren't working on those days, at least not on the reselling side of things. So that definitely played a role in a little bit of a slow period. But the last 3 days of June, which was a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we had $1,894.99 worth of sales, which was so great and completely unexpected. I didn't really do anything particularly different on those days, but we had one record-breaking sale, which really definitely helped, and I'll talk about that later on in the video. But okay, that is what our June looked like. Lots up and downs. I don't really know how to explain that, except sometimes that's how reselling goes. So, okay, but enough jabbering. Let's talk about the numbers, what y'all are here for. Okay, so our total sales for June, drum roll, was $9,070.99. So that's $1,929 less than May, about $2,000 less than May, which is pretty significant. But May was our most profitable month to date, and like I said earlier, we weren't expecting to match that this month. June was actually our 2nd most profitable month to date. So, not bad. As usual, most of these sales were on Poshmark, but that's also because I think I did virtually no cross listing in the month of June, which definitely made an impact on sales, and I'll talk about later in my goals how I'm planning to change that. But this month we had $7,196 worth of sales on Poshmark. We had $833.99 on eBay. We had $629 worth of sales on ThredUP, and then $412 worth of sales on Mercari. So we actually listed a good amount in June. I know I said that we weren't focusing on listing, but that's really because we hired our virtual assistant, who is full-time, and having her on board has made a massive difference. And so the last 2 weeks of June, which is around when she was, training and getting used to the listing, we had a lot more listings. So I think that's definitely gonna help in July. But we listed 347 items in June, which is actually just 2 more than May. So that's really not bad, but we do have plans to list a lot more this month. But the number that really affected our sales this month is the fact that we only sold 152 items in June, which is 44 items down from May, which is a pretty significant number as well, pretty significant decrease. So that is why our sales were so much lower. Our average sales price was high though. It was like, I think, record high at $60.47. So there's definitely a lot of great higher price sales that I'm gonna go over later that helped with that. But this is $4.34 higher than the average sales price of May. So woo! Yay, love that. Love when that happens. And for our average sales days, which is just the average number of days all the items that we sold were listed, I like to look at this number because it gives me a good indicator of how long to expect things to take to sell. The average was 111, but again, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I think the average, I don't really like to look at the average. I like to look at the median number because it reduces the influence of outliers. So the median number was 48, which sounds right to me. Around 3 of the months this year have been, the median number has been in the 40s. So that kind of gives me an idea, a sense of when I list an item, it's going to take somewhere around 45, 48 days to sell. So overall, I'm happy with those numbers. They're pretty solid. You know, the 2 that aren't are the number that sold and, you know, our total sales number. Those went down significantly. But everything else in terms of listing and in terms of our average sales price and in terms of our median sales days, I'm really happy with. But when I'm trying to make sense of the decrease in the number of sales and then our number total sales dollar wise, there's 2 things that I'm, you know, thinking about. First of all, like I said, our inactivity when it came to cross listing, I was probably sharing less, and the first half of June we really weren't listing as much. That definitely had an impact. But then the other factor that had an impact is seasonality. And if you're new to reselling, seasonality is something that affects all retailers, especially clothing retailers, and it definitely affects resellers as well. So over time, you start to kind of build a sense of what your particular business model, how it performs in different seasons and different months. But in my experience, the best months, seasonality wise, are months where the weather is changing or months when there's a major holiday, primarily Christmas or any winter holiday. But that means March is actually usually a really good month for me because people are buying clothes for spring, the weather is getting warmer. This year, unfortunately, COVID definitely impacted that and March wasn't as great as usual. But also May is typically a really good month for me, and that was the case this year, luckily, because people are buying clothes for summer. And then August is typically a really good month for me because people are buying clothes for fall. And then November and December is typically really great for me as well because people are not only buying clothes for winter, but they're also buying clothes for the holidays. So June historically has just not been a great month for me. Summer in general is kind of tough just because people are buying fewer pieces of clothing, and then the clothing that they are buying typically is cheaper. I mean, for instance, if you think of buying shorts versus jeans, shorts are typically way cheaper than a pair of jeans. But this isn't always true. I mean, if you look at my average sales price this month, that definitely doesn't indicate that. So I definitely don't want to discourage you to slack in June. But instead, if you were listing a lot in June and everything was steady on your end, but if your sales did decline, that might be due to external factors and you shouldn't beat yourself up for it. It just happens in this industry and it's completely normal. Okay, so the next thing I want to go over, I usually go over the best and worst sales of the month, but I actually didn't have any like glaringly bad, quote unquote, bad sales this month. I did sell some things that had been listed for 500 days plus, but they typically sold for a pretty good sales price, and so I wasn't you know, I don't necessarily categorize that as bad. So instead, I think I'm just gonna go over 6 best sales because I had some really good sales this month and they were from somewhat more obscure brands that you may or may not know. So I'm gonna go over 6 best sales in the month of June. Okay, the first one was a record-breaking sale. This is the most expensive sale we've had to date. Very happy about it. It was this Canada Goose down coat in the month of June, so that's awesome. It sold for $472 with free shipping, and that happened in the last 3 days of June. So you know what? I did a happy dance. Legit did a happy dance when that happened because that $472 made a massive impact in our sales. Okay, and then the next best sale was this Brunello Cucinelli, hope I'm pronouncing that okay, cashmere zipped hoodie that I sold for on Poshmark kind of in mid-June for $180. I didn't know about this brand, so I definitely wanted to tell y'all about it. I had it listed for $250 and received an offer for $180 and accepted it. The fact that a cashmere sweater again sold in the month of June was great to me, and it sold for so much. So I am definitely gonna keep an eye out for this brand moving forward. Brunello Cucinelli. Maybe I'll even pop up a picture of the tag here because I just had no idea about it. And it's a men's piece. It was a men's sweater. And so I'm always looking for good men's brands to keep an eye out for. I think especially this was, I think 100% cashmere. So especially the 100% cashmere pieces do well. Definitely if you come across this in the thrift store or wherever you're sourcing, I would say check comps. Potentially just pick it up. Okay, and then third best sale, and these are in no particular order, I just wanted to highlight these sales, is this Michael Costello Revolve dress that sold full price for $125 on Poshmark. And if y'all haven't watched my Revolve video, I will link that up on the screen. I did that earlier this week. Michael Costello and Revolve, that is a collaboration that resells very, very well. Michael Costello is a designer himself. He was actually on Project Runway, and his pieces with Revolve are really gorgeous. So if you do see this in the thrift store, and I've actually come across this brand in the thrift store before, definitely check comps and potentially pick it up. Okay, the next sale, which I was so excited about because I love this brand and I love this piece, was this new tag made worn Rolling Stone sequin army jacket. And it sold for $382.50 on TradeZ. Made Worn is a fabulous brand that y'all should all know about. Pretty hard to come by. I don't come by it very often, but I think especially in buy-sell trade stores, you have a potential to come across it. And they're just purposely distressed types of t-shirts, jackets, etc. A lot of graphic tees with bands, and they are made to look vintage. So, and they're really high quality pieces. So I really was excited about the sale. I was excited to be able to find this piece and sell it. It took, I think, a few months, but definitely worth the wait. Okay, and then the next sale on the last 3 days of June again, I had 2 eBay sales for $175 to international buyers. So I said this on my Instagram. If y'all don't follow me on Instagram, my name is Mogi Beth, M-O-G-I-B-E-T-H. Go follow me over there. In July, I'll definitely be pretty active on Instagram, so definitely give me a follow if you aren't already. I talked about on Instagram how if you aren't on eBay, one of my favorite things about eBay is just the international buyers alone. Especially with these more expensive pieces, international buyers tend to be a little bit less price sensitive, and they tend to, I've never had a bad experience with an international buyer. So I always go through the global shipping program, and this sale that I'm going to talk about, the buyer tried to buy it. I thought it was marked under global shipping program, but it wasn't. So I had to go back in and click it, and then she was able to buy it. And I will link an article down below with the information from eBay about global shipping program, because it's kind of tricky at first when you're first doing it, but it's so easy once you get the hang of it. And this sold for, again, $175 full price over on eBay. I had had this dress for a while, but I was super happy to see it go because it is a gorgeous dress by Mage, and it had these little gold bees, like little embellished gold bees all over the dress, which was so cute. It was so unique, so cute. Okay, and then the last best sale for May, which I wanted to highlight because it was on Mercari, and this brand is a brand that I really do love selling, was a Paul Green Miranda woven leather peep toe sandal, and it sold for $108 on Mercari. Paul Green is one that sells well. It doesn't sell super quickly though, I will say. I usually have to sit on it to find the right buyer. It's a more mature brand, more expensive brand, but when the right buyer does come along, I'm usually very grateful. So if you didn't know about that brand, Paul Green, I think I talked about it a long time ago in my shoe bolo list, which I'll link on this screen. I think I did. If not, I talked about 10 other great brands. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about are our goals for July. We have a long list of goals for July. I'm excited to tackle them, but the first and biggest goal is to list 1,000 items in the month of July, which sounds insane, especially since right now we're doing about 350, but that's what June was all about, is setting up these systems so that we can list a ton moving forward, and we have the inventory to do it. So it's just a matter of getting those things listed. I am going to create a fall fashion trends video this month, and I am going to start focusing on fall inventory about halfway through the month of July. So that is, again, so that my August can be great, and I'm definitely going to focus on clothing for fall in August as well. So the first 2 weeks of July, we're really trying to get all the summer stuff up as possible, but this July should really allow us to be prepared for August and then Q4. So very exciting. And then our other goals is to get our website up and running, which I think has been a goal of mine for a long time, but creating a website has really sparked my perfectionist anxieties. But I'm just gonna, good is better than perfect, and get a website up and running. And then the last goal of mine is to integrate self-care and self-education in a sustainable way. So something I've been struggling with is working out. I've actually got my sleep schedule much better than it was before, but I usually wake up early to shoot these videos, and then I work all day and then go to bed. So I need to figure out a way to include some more time to work out, to meditate, and to really focus on my self-care. And then with self-education, I really want to there are a few different courses by Black women about white privilege and white supremacy that I really want to take. One is by Rachel Cargill, and I am a Patreon member of hers. I'll link that information down below, but she is absolutely brilliant and such an important leader in this movement. And then in Portland, there is a anti-racist educator by the name of Tori Williams Douglas, who I also want to take her courses as well. She has a Patreon too, but her courses are called White Homework, and there are 3, and they all cost $12. So it's super affordable and such a great resource. I'll link that down below, but that's something that I think is so important for me to set time aside for, potentially in the evenings, so that I am continuing my education and continuing my advocacy in this particular realm, because I don't think the work will ever be over in my lifetime, and I think it's my duty to continue to stay focused on this issue. So I'm really excited. I do want to take those courses. I'll link them down below again, and figure out some other ways to be involved. But anyways, yeah, those are my personal goals as well. And I thank y'all for listening to those. Thank y'all for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. And let me know in the comments down below, is June historically a good month for you, a bad month for you? Has it been the case that seasonality has affected your business? And what months tend to perform best for you? I'm super curious, because when I talk to friends about it, our months don't actually always line up. Some people have much better months in January, for example, than I do. So I'm super curious to hear your opinions. But thank y'all so much for watching. I will see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Bye. Y'all, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. I think there's even a little button with my logo right above my head that you can click on to subscribe. And then watch our other videos over here. We would really appreciate it, and we really appreciate y'all. Oh, and give us a thumbs up on this video. Okay, bye.